Word Balloon is brought to you by the League of Word Balloon Listeners. How you doing, ladies and gentlemen? If I could be Bob Hope for a second, welcome back to another, Trek Watch. But my God, we're like embarrassed with our riches of streaming television. I'll switch back to John now. So many great shows, and we're going to talk about a handful of them. But good to see Mitch. Good to see Franco. Good to see the Peanut Gallery is already populated, and I would imagine. Yeah, indeed, man. There you go, everybody. Hey Wayne and Langley says hello, and Doubt. And there you go. Greetings to all. And Doubt very kind points out, don't forget to hit the like button. There is a tip button, that little heart, if you're on YouTube at the bottom as well. And, again, if you feel like tipping, thank you. That would be great.
So remember, Johnny does all this for free.
Yeah. No, there's nothing you get. You don't have to buy. You don't have to stay, but you got to get out of here. You know what? I real fast before we get into new stuff, Chuck had never seen the Star Wars Holiday Special, and I was shocked because he's like 49. And I'm like, oh, dude, we've got to watch it. And there's a really, the bootleg's been on YouTube for years. There's an even cleaner YouTube now of it that they totally cut out all the commercials and stuff. And it's a feed from Dayton, Ohio, a local Dayton, Ohio station. But I'm like, you got to watch it. Now, fast forward as your friend watching the holiday special, but you do have to at least watch it once. And I don't know, man. I gotta say, as goofy as it was having Art Carney there, he was all right as a kind of smuggler rebel.
And then there's Maude.
Even B. Arthur, and I'm like, It's gonna suck. You're gonna hate it. And he's like, it's all right. Yeah, and again, he sings that kind of Bertolt Brecht Three-Penny Opera, Mac the Knife kind of song that they wrote especially for the special. And that's why when I said, you can, you can't, you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. That's essentially the theme of her song. It's like Get Out, because the Empire kind of makes, hey, everybody go to their homes, all right, get out of here. And then Shay sings, and not quite Ethel Merman, but close enough. But it's an abomination. And even when Carrie Fisher, who can sing, I'm like, all right, you just need a couple of bars. You know what it is. All right, let's move on. Diane Carroll, hey, she looks amazing. Let's move on.
Wookiee porn. Yeah.
Yeah, and oh my God, just all the scenes with the Wookiee family that are silent. Jesus Christ.
That's classy.
That was the epitome of a network saying, hey, let's cash in on this as much as we can.
But first appearance of Boba Fett 2 years before the movie.
And a lot of cocaine back then too. Yeah.
I heard Bruce Valanche, they reran his Gilbert Gottfried interview from a couple of years ago, and he was one of the writers on it. And he went into great detail about they tried to get a Bertolt Brecht song, but it was too expensive and CBS wouldn't pay for it. So they ended up writing that song for Maude. And it's like, that is totally like a show, especially after the day after the Tonys, as we're recording this, totally a show tune that I could see fitting in some sort of kind of beer hall, kind of song. They did a hell of a job. And also the back tune is, of course, the dun, 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 music and everything. So, but yeah, again, it's goofy. It's weird. He said, I'm glad I saw it. I never want to see it again. I'm like, exactly. That's
everybody. Yeah.
Yeah. But honestly, I even at the point where, obviously Harrison Ford did his scenes, but when they cut to the cartoon and he's upside down and unconscious, I'm like, maybe Harrison doesn't speak, but no, he speaks. Yeah. So anyway, makes me laugh, man. Oh no, Langley says I want them to do a tongue-in-cheek holiday specials thing on Disney to spoof the original. but it seems the Guardians of the Galaxy is doing one. Oh, I had no idea that they're
Yeah, that's coming on. Yeah, this fall, the Guardians of the Galaxy Christmas special, holiday
cool.
special. Yeah,
that'll be interesting. I would like to, honestly, especially while some of the people are still alive, I would really like to do a behind the scenes, like what went wrong. But I'm sure Lucasfilms is like, no.
They buried that thing long ago.
They disown that. Yeah, they don't talk about that.
Well, and when the bootleg popped in, it's like, God, all right, we were really hoping that would be lost to time.
Well, maybe you never know, Mitch. They might bring it up in canon again. You don't know.
No, there's some things that aren't canon that are from there.
Yeah, hopefully this will be one of them.
Yeah, Chewbacca's kid.
Yeah.
Boba Fett,
really?
his family. Yeah, Lumparoo was. Well, they had that whole like expanded universe stuff, which Disney threw out the window. Yeah, but there was novels, and he was mentioned in it and all that. But who knows if that counts anymore? Yeah.
Well, all right.
It's not canon. Yeah,
I understand. Doubt says they did the Lego.
Yeah.
I was just going to mention they did a Lego Christmas special, right?
Yeah. Yes, they did. Yeah.
But I don't know what.
Probably Life Day or something.
It's Life Day. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's the Wookiee one. Yeah, absolutely. And like says, you can see Harrison Ford's soul leave his body. He's forced into that tiny.
I like how
that shakes.
I like how Mark Hamill, embodied Sandy Duncan. Remember Sandy Duncan with the twinkle in his eye? He had so much makeup on. I think that was right after the car accident or something. They were like, "Cover him up."
Maybe
he was scary looking, man.
Because he looked weird. He didn't look Empire different, but he also didn't look, boyish charm from the first movie. So yeah,
no, he looked odd.
I guess okay. Langley says they made Life Day canon again.
They did. Life Day's a thing. They even made a book about it. Yeah, comic book.
I agree with Wayne. 2 great bootlegs: the Star Wars Holiday Special and
the FF movie.
Roger Corman Fantastic Four. Yeah, absolutely, man. With Robert Culp's son, isn't he Dr. Doom?
Yep, and Alex Hyde White, Wilfred Hyde White's son, is Mr. Fantastic.
Yes.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Hilarious. Oh my God. I just love there's that one scene where Doom is really angry and it totally looks like an 80s like Journey video. Because he's got he's on his throne and there are like flames and there's like a black background. And it's like, I think that's the beginning of Photograph by Def Leppard.
Didn't Roger Corman film that in like 20 days or something like that? Yeah.
He had to get it done before the end of the year for legal reasons, and he did it. Banged it out.
He had an option and it was running out. Mm-hmm. So yeah. So it was totally like, hey, but that said, fun movie, better than the Josh Trank movie.
Oh, hell yeah. That's for certain.
Is that the Fant 4-stick? Is that the one we're talking about?
Yeah.
Again, we've said that's on the Oh Yeah podcast. It's not a bad movie if you take out the Fantastic Four part.
Right. Yeah. If it's not them, it's fine.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. No, I agree.
Yeah.
Doubt says those old DC's TV specials, the roasts.
Oh, yeah.
The superheroes were fun to watch. I wish DC had done a Ghetto Man one shot. I forget which comedian played Ghetto Man. I do remember, if you remember, but I remember that Jeff Altman was the Weather Wizard, and also that Ed McMahon hosted the roast, which was fantastic.
Was it Franklin Ajayi? That was Ghetto Man. He was He was a '70s stand-up guy.
I just heard a new interview with him on the Johnny Carson podcast. He's been in Australia either since the late 80s or the early 90s.
I thought he was dead.
And it's like, okay, I'm the guy in Australia. And he sounds amazing and very sharp for whatever. I'm sure he's in his 70s now.
Easily, yeah.
But great stories and explains why he moved to Australia. Really interesting. So, yeah.
You know who just died? Speaking of Johnny Carson comedians, remember Johnny Yoon?
Of course, the Korean.
They call me Bruce. Yeah, he just passed away.
Yeah.
He was like a big deal back for a couple of years. Yeah.
Absolutely. No, he was on that Norm Crosby stand-up show, the half-hour Comedy Store or whatever it was called, that he would MC.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that. Yeah, Norm Crosby.
Oh. I agree with Langley regarding the Corman FF. The documentary about the making of that film was fascinating.
That's
right. Poor actors didn't know they were being duped. Absolutely.
Yep.
And poor Wayne says, I have the DVDs of the 2 DC specials. Sure. Well, that's right before YouTube really like got into longer streaming and stuff. I you'd see the bootlegs of the Star Wars Holiday Special and Fantastic Four movie and those superhero roasts and
the superhero roasts were on DC. What's it called? DC Universe when they had their streaming thing. I don't know if it's on HBO Max now, but
no, I think they really streamlined. Yeah, they really streamlined what they put up DC wise over on HBO Max.
Yeah, they had a lot of stuff up there for a while.
Oh,
like Shazam and all that,
and even the Spirit 80s TV movie, Sam Jones, and to transition slowly into Trek, Nana Vister,
that's right,
played Alan Dolan.
Yeah,
and honestly, for a TV movie,
it's pretty good. Yeah, I was going to say it's better than the Frank Miller one, that's for sure.
Absolutely. So,
come on now.
So DC Universe does still exist, but now it's kind of like Marvel Unlimited.
Yeah.
Langley says, it was great for the time it lasted. Yeah, it was. Well, I wouldn't go so far as to say great, but it was certainly good. I'm glad
they tried.
Well, and I'm glad they were doing literally like a Monday through Friday daily show, like a group of nerds and stuff. And
it was like Attack of the Show, but it was all comics, and they had some good documentaries on there too.
Oh, absolutely. Yes, they did.
They would cover like his George Perez or Crisis. They would remember those DVD features that Burnett used to make? That's what that was on there. It would be like these little 15, 20-minute behind the scenes, like the history of the Green Lantern Corps. And you're like, oh, okay. But they don't do that stuff anymore. So
did Mark Hamill narrate a couple of those? I thought he did.
Maybe. I watched them, but I don't remember.
And Dot says, I feel like a weirdo, but I enjoyed how campy that Doctor Strange TV movie was. The 70s Marvel TV movies were fine for what they were.
Yeah.
And, of course, that would extend to the 80s and early 90s Incredible Hulk movies, including The Hulk Meets Daredevil, featuring Rex Smith, Mitch.
Who will be at Terrificon next month on July 29th and 31st at Mohegan Sun. They actually offered me John Rhys Davies the other day, and I was going to get him not only because he's Sala and he's Gimli from The Lord of the Rings, but he's the Kingpin in that movie. And I'm like, oh my God, I could have Daredevil and the Kingpin.
Oh, wow.
80s style, not the D'Onofrio Charlie Cox version, but the cheesy 80s ones.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Forgive the audio direction, Mitch. Turn your microphone just a little bit lower because
I'm sorry.
You're over modulating when you get excited.
Oh well, my wife says that too.
You were crackling, and I don't want you to get electricity or anything.
I think I'm going to be at Terrificon as well. I'm waiting for the Facebook announcement. I've never seen it though, so I don't know.
I thought about doing it today, but I was like, do somebody else.
There's a hint. Keep going. Lower it a little more, please. Because even now, when you just said, I know, it's like.
Oh, really? Wow.
We don't. I just don't want to hurt people's ears. They might be listening on earbuds.
I think we've done that before.
That's just a way to get Mitch not to talk anymore. That's what Johnny's trying to drive.
Is it any better?
You can go even more. But keep going. It is
a little lower.
Again, you're still a little loud.
It's like Abbott and Costello.
Exactly.
That's great. Now we can't hear you.
Say something.
Hello, how are you? Great to be
here. A little louder than that.
A little louder? Oh.
When you get modulated, you're gonna be fine.
Just slightly. Frankie, you can come down here as well if you don't mind.
1, 2, 3.
That's not gonna happen.
There you go. You're fine, Mitch. Thank you. Yes, I agree. Scoot says, I'm up to my old tricks. No. I just don't want to blow out anybody's speaker.
No. Remember that Lou Costello routine where he's like, a little lower on the left, a little higher, and he's doing the whole bit. Yeah, that's what it felt like. Yeah.
No, I understand.
Both feet. Jump up.
Wayne is coming back to Terrificon, so he'll be there as well.
I know. We'll roll out the red carpet.
So that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
And again, end of July, Terrificon. Last weekend in July, Mohegan Sun in beautiful
Uncasville, Connecticut. Uncasville.
Yeah. I like it. All right, Star Trek: Strange New Worlds, Episode 6. Liked it in general. What else can I say? I'll say my nitpicks. More ridiculous buffer BS with and man, we were mocking Mbenga and his daughter in the buffer, and exactly what we said actually happened. Where Danny, did you read me that chapter? How long have they been in here anyway? Well, I don't think Ying. Oh, you better go back. Goodbye.
Well, that brings up a thing. Do you know time is passing when your molecules are stuck in that little buffer zone? I mean, I thought time was frozen, like when they did Scotty. Yeah. When he woke up, he's like, "Oh, I bet Jim Kirk himself came and got me." They're like, "That was 80 years ago." What about Franklin? I didn't think you noticed time passing, but this girl is obviously hip to it. Like, hey,
I think she's hip to it because he keeps reading the same passage over again because he doesn't remember what he read last time.
Robin went, "Hey, we already read this one."
Yeah, he doesn't remember what he read a month ago. And to the girl, it's been like a few seconds,
Could have been a bookmark in there, Whatever.
They don't have those in the future.
They don't have those in the future.
Brad Sanders says Ghetto Man. He was Ghetto Man in those.
Oh, okay.
Couch says the Strange New Worlds episode is really dark. Deweese says he loved it. I liked it a lot. Again, I think they are 6 for 6.
That's kind of why I loved it, because it was so dark.
Yeah,
I agree with you. Well, and I'm going to spoil it. Can't help it because the image just cracked me up, and I sent it to you guys earlier. But yeah, that horrible fate for that poor kid. There it is.
Oh wow!
Yeah. Take Wayne's comment down because it's like I'd rather have zits, frankly.
Oh man!
Was he going to say that, or is this how I string Disney Plus? I'm not. I don't think I like this. Help me out.
I know you're supposed to have this whole moral dilemma at the end, like, what do we do? We're interfering with a culture, but this is what they do to sacrifice this kid. This is how they live. But it's kind of like,
what? And what?
He's being it's not like when they take the virgin, they throw her in the volcano to appease the gods or King Kong or something like that because they want to have a harvest next year. But I mean,
I don't know, Mitch.
He's Starfleet. He's got to go along with the cultures of these people. And he doesn't agree with it, but
well, he tried to stop, but he was stopped. Yeah,
right. And also, they showed the husk of the first attendant, and so obviously that kid is in pain and going to suffer.
Yeah, I don't know what he's complaining about. He looked all right. He looked fine.
He was fine. He had a good couple of years before. Got to play some video games.
And for the peanut gallery and everything, let's take a look again. Yeah, the kid's just fine. Oh, sure.
I mean, the other kid that they took out.
Maybe
I like that he was playing with Mbenga's daughter, and then when they say bye to each other, I love that they do the little kid wave.
Yeah.
But I liked it. I liked the ending. I did kind of feel like, all right, something bad's about to happen. Clearly.
Yeah.
But that said, it reminded me, and again, I like this because it was a more subtle callback. I don't know if you guys felt the same way, but it reminded me of that episode, A Taste of Armageddon, where they accidentally go to the society and they're at war with another planet, and it's all simulations on computers. And when casualties go, everybody just goes into the incinerator and kills themselves. And of course, Kirk's like, none of that. Prime directive, Schmein directive. Stand back. Watch what I do, Mr. Spock. All right.
But I thought the episode was also intriguing enough because they had that little conversation at the end with Pike where they leave the door open for him to, what happens after, Spock in the trial in the original series. Like, does this give him a chance to, to maybe fix something or fix some, not that he's going to, but it leaves that kind of door open where, they don't have any diseases there. They could fix whatever is done to him. They leave that door open a little bit. So, kind of.
Well, but I think he is appalled by this
absolutely
society so much that that isn't an option. And I loved the whole relationship with the prime minister, whatever her position was.
Oh, that's Booth. I interviewed her, Lindy Booth. She was on The Librarians. She's redhead. Yes. Yeah. I interviewed her twice.
Terrific.
Yeah.
I also like that he's given Kirk a run for his money in the getting some department.
Absolutely. Yeah. Hi, I'm here. Let me show you my idea of first contact. Get in bed. All right.
Here's why I thought it was odd. Because he's mad that they're going to sacrifice this kid for the needs of the many, outweighs the needs of one. But yet he knows himself that he's on a trajectory he's going to have to sacrifice himself at one point and be in this, painful body wheelchair thing to save a bunch of people. So of all people on that ship that should I understand what that kid's got to do, the sacrifice, would be Pike. So why would he be like, oh, fuck that, don't do that? I'm like, dude, you're going to do it in 9 years, 3 months, 2 days, 4 hours. It's the same scenario.
Yeah, but this is a defenseless kid who also seems incredibly gifted.
Mm.
The Weeze asked, do we think the Chosen One was genetically engineered? I don't know. I mean, obviously his dad was there and whatever, and also a doctor, which might even suggest, kind of lab rat medical professional who's to say. But I think that's interesting. And also didn't even occur to me, Mitch, the similarities of Pike's ultimate fate compared to the kid, and also even in a chair.
Well, here's the other thing, that they were from an advanced race, obviously, and the doctor was trying to quiz them about medical procedures and stuff. Why the hell couldn't they help him out with his kid? I mean, he was like this close to finding a cure.
They said we don't. It's just like in Voyager when they met the one alien race, and it was the guy who looks like Gomez from the live-action Addams Family movies, Raul Julia. Raul Julia. But it kind of looked like poor man's Raul Julia.
Right.
And they had transwarp technology where they're like, oh yeah, we can move, hundreds of, 5 figures of light years and get you right home. But we can't get the technology or whatever. And well, that's a shame. So yeah, I mean, they've teased like that before.
I know.
But, and also they brought this idea up to Pike, and it was in the heat of the moment. He didn't really have a lot of time to think about, oh, well, this might happen to me in the future type thing, and this is the way I'll deal with it and stuff like that. Ooh, we totally lost Mitch.
I dropped my camera.
If you don't want to listen to my ideas, that's fine, Mitch. You don't have to go to these links. Wow.
Wow, this is like, sorry, everybody. This is like January 6th footage right there.
Sorry, everybody.
All right. I know. Terrible thing. Sorry to make light of it. No. But anyway, okay, here, listen. The Weeze, because people have comments about all this. You would think the doctor would have acted differently. This father is doing whatever it takes to save his son. Yet the doctor's like, oh, well, hey, by the way, can you save my kid? No, I don't think so. I think Mbenga is being portrayed as a low-key guy. And I think he was absolutely like, I got to, and also didn't want to let on that it was so personal and made it this hypothetical of what if I had a patient that was suffering this way. He was
so bad at it. The little kid is like, I knew you had a patient on here by the way you described your hypothetical.
Well, again, I don't know. He kills me. Wayne says it sounded like the kid was genetically modified so he could be plugged into the machine. Sure, maybe. Mm-hmm. So, but I don't know, man. Like I said, great pathos with Mbenga's daughter, and right now, to me, I'm sorry, I think it's weird. It diminishes what Scotty did in Relics, and that pisses me off. So I look at it as comedy, frankly.
Well, it's inconsistent because just 2 or 3 weeks ago, when they met that comet that was actually a ship that had the egg in it, fucking Pike violated the thing there to save his crew, but he's also like, let's not kill all those people if the comet hits the ground, even though it's part of the prophecy, all that stuff. He's willing to go that far for those people, but now with the kid, he's like, I'm upset, but I'm not going to interfere. I mean, it gets a little weird. Like one day he does it, one day he doesn't do it.
It was kind of a subtle prime directive, schmime directive. And I also, like Franco said, if he had been able to get to the kid, he would have saved him. But
where would he have gone though? I mean, it seemed like that whole planet needed that kid.
Well, I think that's why it was just like an initial reaction type thing. Like you can't do this to the kid in the moment. Yeah. Changing gears and going back to what you said for a second, wasn't there a Next Gen episode with I'm horrible at names, so I apologize, but Murdoch from the A-Team. What's his name?
Dwight Schultz.
Barclay. Wasn't there an episode where he saw something in the patterns in the transport patterns, and then he grabbed them, and then there were crew members of another ship or something like that they thought they had lost, right?
Yes. Yes.
So that might explain, people being in there for a while and nobody even knowing about it type thing.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I could see that accidentally, but I think taking the uniqueness of, and it's such a Scotty solution of how do we survive? We don't have enough supplies. We don't know how long we're going to be out here. to do it, and just the way that LaForge and Riker reacted to that. And I even believe Relics might have been before that Barclay episode. And that's why it's like, wow, I that's amazing to keep the pattern going back and forth through a diagnostic or whatever. Well, it was only half brilliant. Franklin, poor Franklin, only 50%.
And then, of course, Michael Burnham's crew figured the same thing out on Discovery, that they could hide in the buffer zone when they went through that part of space. Remember the season towards the end, whatever.
But everything about that was classified, so they don't know about that.
Yeah, and plus it's in the future, so they don't know anyway. So yeah,
I agree with Doubt, although, and I'll give my thoughts. He says, I remember hearing Jeff Johns say at DC, continuity isn't important. Good stories are. Is that the mindset for the current Trek exec producers and writers? Clearly. Yeah. Although they've contradicted themselves again, that eugenics is frowned upon, yet they are genetically modifying people rather than the cosmetic surgery that we saw at every other iteration of Star Trek. So which is it? But that said, I think that, again, is just inadvertent, like writers not paying attention to what each other are doing, and that's a bad writing room. But that said, as I keep saying, and Michael Jan Friedman and I, the great Trek novelist, talked on Friday, and I wanted his opinions of new Star Trek, given the amount that he's written. And it's like, if you're doing a soft reboot, say you're doing a soft reboot. And then, like, a lot of us will shut up and go, all right, well, I said, I mean, right away, Galactica, it's like, well, Starbuck's a girl. Well, it's a soft reboot.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And she turned out to be great, obviously. Katie Sackhoff was amazing. So it's like, all right, never mind. So, But the Weed says regarding the episode, it would have been a great two-parter if they had beamed the kid up. The planet starts to go crazy, and Starfleet has to force them to make an impossible decision.
Oh, that would have been cool.
Absolutely. No. Well, again, and I know, Franco, we'll get to the Orville, and I know you're not crazy about it, but I think there's been some really good what one planet does that's part of the Union versus the Union's general code of morality. And it's like, no, that's interesting. And yeah, it's like, okay, who's right? So, again, in general, I really liked it. Again, other than Mabanga's personal trauma with his daughter, that's really the only thing that's going on. That's like, that was a little bit of, and of course the kid at the end. But no, I liked it. They did once again steal from another great, not only great sci-fi writer, but a great female sci-fi writer. The great Ursula Le Guin wrote a short story that basically had a lot of similarities of the premise. And right now the title escapes me. And in fact, people who were complaining about Discovery and the burn and the one guy from Saru's race that has the scream that caused the burn and everything, they said that was kind of similar to an Ursula Le Guin story. But yeah, it's like, again, this is like two in a row where, whatever, regarding Una and DC Fontana, who's part of the Trek family and one of the best regarded Trek writers. But Ursula Le Guin, my God, I mean, the amount of great science fiction that she's written or had written in her career, I believe she's passed since then, but tremendous. Lathe of Heaven, do you remember that movie at all? It was a great TV movie that was based on one of her novels and stuff. No, an amazing writer. So,
but overall, it was a million times better than Discovery. No matter what, I was like, even if this sucked, it was still better than the rest of the crap.
No, they're 6 for 6. They are 6 for 6.
It is. I'd give this one like a B-. It wasn't bad.
Well, I'd give it a B. I'd give it a full B.
It might be actually too that they have a really good cast of actors. Like, I don't have a problem with anybody on the show. Not like the other show where you'd be like, I can't stand this character. I don't know who this is. I don't know who that is. Every single one.
I think that's really just due to. I think that's just really due to them not developing those characters and the writing. It's just, I like a lot of the characters on Discovery. I just don't think they're fleshed out. I don't know enough about them to care. I don't know. They're not put in any situations where I'm like, oh, if they die, it's fine.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. It's like we needed, and especially after 4 seasons now, give us this. Tilly has saved the day. Stamets has helped save the day. But it's like, again, the bridge crew, Adira, let her save. Let her be the solution, and make it prominent. I don't know what they're going to do with Gray. I'm not sure if Gray is back for season 5 or not. It's weird.
I thought she was off the show.
I have no idea what the plans are for them, but yeah.
And if they are off the show, it's weird. Like, why introduce this character? Why have this court?
Well, they're like the Neelix and Kess of the show. They were there, and then they left, and they didn't really impact the show.
But even Neelix and Kess very quickly. Well, first of all, Neelix as a traitor and knowing the Delta Quadrant was useful, and then they morphed him into the cook. Fine. And Kess right away is like, "Doctor, can I help?" Great. I mean, Gray talked down the AI becoming aware. I forget what her name is.
I forgot.
She's a she, unless she identifies also as plural. I don't believe she does. But it's like, I mean, really, other than talking down the computer, Gray's just like, all right, I'll be. Everyone's on red alert. I'll be here in the ready room. I'm going to play Wordle.
Yeah.
If anybody needs me, I'm playing Wordle.
No, honestly, after Discovery, when I think of Discovery, the only people I can think of is Michael Burnham and Saru and maybe Stamets. Maybe and that's about it, really. Maybe, and the rest.
And again,
no one stands out.
On paper, it's like, okay, those are characters that normally we don't give a lot of focus to. Fine. Well, I mean, obviously Stamets being an engineer, right. But Culver, fine. And we've had doctors, but also, okay, that's okay. Again, they are doing things on the ship that are important. Tig Notaro is doing things on the ship that are important. Tilly,
okay, yeah.
But again, so much action happens on the bridge, and for 3.5 seasons, all we got was Detmer and Dreadlock Lady, who's got the very long African name, and I don't remember her name. Shame on me. But all we got is them like looking at each other like.
Yeah, but I mean, if you think about it. The Tig Notaro character, she was on for a handful of episodes compared to everybody else.
Yeah.
And I know you don't like her, Johnny, but for me as a character, she stands out a lot more than everybody else just because of, what they gave her to do, her delivery, and it being unique enough where it stood out for me, whereas some of the other characters just don't.
I want to forgive me because you're right. I kind of don't like Tig Notaro. I have nothing against Tig Notaro as a person. Yeah. I don't find her that funny. And that YouTube show where it's like they had all the 90s celebrities. It's like, all right, I don't watch TV. I don't know who you are. I'm like, who cares? Who cares? And I didn't think it was that funny that she's sitting with James Vanderbeek or Sabrina, Melissa Joan Hart.
And
other 90s and Tony Shalhoub. And it's like, I don't know who you are. And it's like, yeah, okay. I mean, that's a 5-minute Conan bit. That is not
maybe that's why they got her to work on this show, because the rest of the crew, I don't know who you are.
Yeah. Well, look at it like this. You have three.
I believe she is a Star Trek fan. Cool. That's great.
Right.
And also, I hate how snark. I mean, you could say that she's kind of like Bones, but again, it's within the command structure. Bones, like the chief medical officer, can be shitty to the captain.
Yeah.
Because there is that whole, hey, I can declare you unfit for duty. And also, certainly in the TOS years, McCoy's his two best friends are McCoy and Spock. Right. So it's okay that McCoy is busting Kirk's chops every now and then. That's fine. But there's just, and also it's still happening on Strange New World. And we saw it with Uhura and La'an, that La'an's kind of being a tough, hard-ass, security person while Uhura's going through training, and Uhura's rolling her eyes. And it's like, hey, that's your superior officer.
Yeah.
Shut up and do your job. And I'm really sorry they're making you clean toilets with a toothbrush. Welcome
You're
to Star
cadet on rotation, damn it.
Well, you know what? Yeah. You know what? What's her name? Tug? What's her name? She reminds. That's Serena. She reminds me.
Why do I remember her name? See,
that's what I'm saying. I don't know. She reminds me of Rizzo on MASH, who was just like always there, but kind of a dick. And it was like, well, you know what? I don't really give a shit because his character never changed, and she's always the wise ass, sarcastic in the background.
She's like a motor pool.
Yeah, she's exactly who she is, and it's like. McCoy was different because McCoy had a character development. He was a professional. He was a wise ass, but he was also good at his job, and he actually changed his character. She's a one-liner. She's just in the back,
but
throwing them out.
They did kind of show that she's a very capable engineer.
Yeah, but so was Rizzo. He was good at the motor pool.
Yeah, but again, I don't mind that. I think they have given her enough character moments that you can justify and say, okay, I get. I certainly know more about. I'm all right now. I got to make sure because I want to say Jet Reno, I believe, like Janet Reno.
Janet Reno, yeah.
Jet Reno, I believe is her name.
Yeah. Well, you know what's funny? Go back to
their name. I don't know.
I was saying the original show, you had your Kirk, Spock, McCoy, your three leads. But before the movies, even as a kid, I knew Scotty, Chekhov, Uhura, Sulu, Chapel. You knew all even Mr. Kyle. You knew the background characters who didn't really have a lot, but they all, again, I think it's a lot to do with the charisma of the actors because they all kind of stood out, and Chekhov too. They all stood out in their own way, even though they never had full episodes. Look at these other people. They've been on 4 years, and you're like,
but that's my argument. That's the writing on the show is all skewed Michael Burnham, and this is skewed more. Well, the entire crew, and I'm starting to learn the entire crew. Yes, the stories are better too. Again, writing. So I'm more vested in Strange New Worlds than I ever have been in 4 years of Discovery, and we're only 6 episodes in here.
I know. Well, they did cheat a little bit because you do have already familiarity with Chapel, Spock, Uhura. Those guys.
But we kind of know Ortega. We kind of know La'an. The new characters that they've introduced. We certainly know more about M'Benga. By the way, Mark McGrath says Bands Olusan Makona, and I'm really sorry I'm murdering his name because I really do like the actor. But he says he's one cool cat. He's had some interesting roles. Dune, Wrath of Man, Too Old to Die Young, Black Mirror, The Defenders. So yeah, man. And again, like Langley said, these characters have had moments to shine. I agree. I am still a little annoyed, much in the same way of Uhura rolling her eyes at both Hemmer and now La'an. The one thing about Ortega is, again, way too snarky. Shut up and move. I'm the captain. I said go into the supernova. All right, if you think that's okay. Shut up.
Why is Uhura being called a lieutenant already? I thought she was just like a cadet.
No. They always call her cadet. I think you misheard, sir.
No, I thought I heard lieutenant. I'm like, really? Already?
Feel free to find it on an old episode and show me, and I will believe you and apologize.
No, I'm not old episode. I'm talking about Strange New Worlds. Last week, I did a double take when I thought I heard her call lieutenant.
They're in the Tuberlift, and he's like,
I don't think they did.
What are you doing now? I'm sorry, Mitch. I don't think you're right.
All right, I'll go look back.
I don't mean to pounce, but I'm just saying, I don't think so.
No, when they were walking down the hallway, and I thought I heard her say,
find the scene. Tell us, show us, please, and let us be corrected. It's just like in Obi Wan. I didn't buy when I'll buy that his Jedi powers have diminished because he hasn't used them. But when he's on this transport and he's telling Leia how important it is to keep your code name, and he goes, Leia, what are we doing? It's like, come on,
please. We could talk about that. Let's talk about Trek because that's a whole other. that's the Little Rascals in
Trench
space.
coat. Trench coat.
Yeah.
I
told you last week when Franco goes, I got to watch it. And I said, all I got to tell you is one thing. Just think of the Little Rascals. And you're like, what are you talking about? Said, you'll know when it happens. And I'm like, oh my God, they're sneaking her out because, I'm just a big fat man. Don't look at the trench coat. It's like, are you kidding me?
Do you remember the Stooges one where it's an Arabian set and there's Santa Claus and they're like a giant Santa Claus?
And I'm thinking to myself, do you know how much money those writers get, and that's the best thing they could come. Forget there's stormtrooper armor everywhere. There's cargo cases.
Maybe they ran out of budget.
I don't know what happened there. I was like, oh my God, they're not doing that. Really?
Quote the old comedian from New York, Pat Cooper. How dare you? How dare you?
It was embarrassing.
It really was. And again, I will say, let's transition to Obi Wan because unless there's anything else you guys want to say about
Trek.
Oh, we can always come back to it. But
I did like how Pike almost ripped Mr. Kyle a new one when he's like, "Who gave the order to activate the transport?" He's like, "Whoa, it did it by itself." But it's like, man, he ain't fucking around.
Or how about Uhura? Like they want just a glancing blow on the shuttle that had the red head. And the kid before they had them on.
She sliced them a new one.
Sorry, I took out the engines and the warp was about to blow. Sorry.
No,
Well, I mean, that's the fault of the crew. You're putting a cadet in charge of that? Come on.
Well,
You're in the middle of
and to
something
be
here.
honest, I agree with you. In a crucial moment like that, maybe you don't have the trainee,
Yeah,
with their finger on the button. Okay,
Yeah.
sir, I'll do it as soon as you say.
Oops, I
sorry.
cut his leg off.
Can I get a do-over? No.
It's like an
it's like
episode
that
of the
kid-
Orville. Oops, I cut his leg off. Yeah.
Exactly, or the Simpsons, the kid that is at barber school. Mr. Schwartz, I did it again.
Yeah. No, that was a little weird. I'm like, really? That like whatever.
But again,
no,
this is
fun.
why it's a mistake to have so many legacy characters on the show. Spock and Pike and Una are one thing. To go that extra step, and as much as, like I said, I've got a mad crush on Nurse Chapel, and every time I see her, she's got my complete attention, and those I fall in love with her looking at her eyes.
Yeah.
But sorry if that's too much for everybody. But I mean, again, it's like, okay, there's backstories to these people, and you're playing with their backstories and not saying soft reboot. So what do you?
It could have been another medical person. It didn't have to be Christine Chapel.
100%. And again, it was, although it's very interesting. I didn't know. My buddy John Price noticed that Screen Rant wrote an article about, well, if they're going to go into Nurse Chapel's past, they better ignore Dr. Corby. And it's like,
that's right, Roger Corby. Yeah,
they're not going to ignore. It's perfect timing for
Christine.
To show their relationship at an earlier stage in TOS.
Yeah. It's me, Christine. I'm here. I'm Roger.
I could be repaired.
I could be repaired. That would be kind of cool though. She goes, "Oh, I gotta go," or she can't hook up with Spock then because she's like, "I got a guy."
Well, again, she thought he was dead, and maybe now we see whatever conflict was where he's presumed dead, and we could have Rock carry his body, and I have technology that will repair you, or whatever. Do my bad Ted Cassidy right there. I love that episode. That is the equation, and then he just starts crushing Kirk.
I was love the
There's a sequel to that. There's a sequel to that in the novels. It's called Mirror Mirror. That I guess either another Kirk is generated before. I mean, because I know Andrea vaporizes the original Kirk android, but a second Kirk android leaves that planet and actually infiltrates Starfleet. Yes. It's a great, and it's Michael Jan Friedman, one of his earliest Star Trek novels. It's called Double.
Hopefully that was the Kirk. Hopefully that was the Kirk that died on Miranda 3 or whatever in Generations, and the real Captain Kirk comes back again. Whatever the hell that planet
was.
Well,
if you were ever interested in the Shatner novels.
I read those when he steals the ship and goes back, and then he was dead, but they brought him back to life with nanites and stuff like that.
Right, the Borg.
Yeah,
the Borg finds him and they repair him.
Yeah.
And then he goes on and has like 5 or 6 different novel adventures.
Yes, I read those.
Next Gen crew, and they bring Bones back. And
Scotty,
Scotty, no, it's again. If you love Captain Kirk, he co-wrote those with that husband and wife writing team.
The Reeves or Steves or something.
Yes, Judith and Gar Reeves Stevens, and they are great Star Trek writers. They wrote Enterprise, and they wrote a ton of novels.
Yeah.
The other interesting thing is, it's a shame that the open script freelance policy doesn't exist anymore, because I think A, you would get fresher ideas. B, I listened to one of the Trekspert podcasts. They do a weekly rewatch of an episode, and they'll have somebody that was either part of the crew or an actor or just a big fan of a certain episode, and they'll do a commentary. And they had, oh God, I can't remember his name, but they redid. It was It was the Geordi episode, season 3 of Next Generation, where he's stuck on the planet with the Romulan, and also there's a Romulan on the Enterprise, and Worf is asked to give him a blood transfusion, and he won't do it because he's a Romulan.
Right.
Great story.
Screw that guy.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Fantastic Next Gen. Really, both stories I think are great. But that writer had talked about, I pitched other ideas. And Michael Jan Friedman, Mike was telling me he got a Voyager made, the one with Joel Grey, and Janeway's on a planet, and Joel Grey is kind of senile and thinks Janeway is his dead daughter. Really good episode. But he had also pitched Next Gen ideas and DS9 ideas and they considered, but ultimately didn't do. Yes, the end of Rambling. That's the episode that the guy on the Trexpert commentary wrote.
The last thing I want to say about it is they're going to do something about Mary joke pretty soon on Pike's hair, because when he got on that, I couldn't stop staring at it for a couple scenes. I'm like, did they not realize that thing's about 6 inches high? It was just like,
it's like
it's
Fletch.
crazy.
It's like Fletch when he has the dream that he's playing for the Lakers, and he's
yeah. Got the big
6'7" with the afro.
I know. It's like, look at that hair.
Pike's hairstyle brings all the girls to the yard. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, it does.
Maybe it's like Marge on The Simpsons when she's going over something in her mind. She's like, maybe I should do it. Maybe I shouldn't. And then she gets to the top. And it's like, don't ask me. I'm just hair.
It's weird hair, man.
I love it. It's nobody talking about. He's bringing back the 50s.
Yeah, how high could it go? But anyway, that's Trek. Go on to the Little Rascals. Go to Little Rascals in Space. That's a good one.
Obi Wan.
AKA Obi Wan.
Yeah, again, 4 episodes in, I like it. I forget who made the point. I think it was made on Ron Burnett's show, and I think I brought it up to you guys in the commentary, maybe not, or in a chat. You've cast Anakin Hayden Christensen to come back.
Mm-hmm.
We've had 4 episodes. Other than him in the tank, dreaming, we haven't seen him. I asked Franco. Franco's like, I don't even think it's him in the Vader suit.
It's not. It's yeah.
No, I heard it was him, that he had like body language training.
How about a few regretting flashback scenes that happened before Revenge of the Sith, between 5 and 6, or between 2 and 3? Excuse me.
Might still be coming.
I thought that's what was going to happen.
2 hours left. It would have made more story sense to me to have them peppered throughout all 6 episodes. And oh, I remember this thing. Oh, I remember that.
Yeah,
thing.
flashbacks.
You're right. But good Lord, man, they got him on the red carpet right next to Ewan
McGregor. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like, what the fuck are you doing? I mean, it's like what? I mean, I really feel bad for him because also I really like his movie Shattered Glass, where he played the plagiarizing young
reporter. Yeah.
And I do think in the right roles. And also, I also think he's old enough, and give him better lines, Master, that you could actually have him be interesting as a more adult Anakin before he becomes Vader.
Yeah, I think they give him equal billing. I think they give him equal billing because they felt bad for cutting his arm and legs off.
Yeah.
So,
well, just floating around in that tank. I'm like, that's all he's going to do? Because once I heard James Earl Jones doing the voice, and you could see he's got like this little modulator thing in his throat, I go, yeah, but can't we hear the thoughts in his head? That would be Hayden's voice.
Or just as Obi-Wan is trying to contact Qui-Gon.
Yeah.
Can't you hear me? How about they have a, like, Kylo Ren, Rey telepath communication of, I'm going to find you, and whatever you're trying to do.
Maybe they don't want to do that, because if they do, that says, oh, look, there's a little bit of Anakin still left inside. That's why he's more machine now than man.
But I think that's what you want
to do. That. I agree with you, because I'm like, why the fuck would an actor come back if he can't speak and he's covered up? I mean,
that's all I'm saying.
That's a stunt man. That's like the Mandalorian guy, which I've heard he's not even in that sometimes. Bryce Dallas Howard, whatever she said, he wasn't on the set when she filmed her episode. It was the stunt guy.
Sure.
And then Pedro Pascal just did the voiceover in the sound booth months later. He's
just like Robot Man in the Doom Patrol, and
Brendan Fraser.
Brendan Fraser.
I mean, why would you? Why?
I'm fine with that, but like I said, to make such a big deal of, hey, we got Hayden back, and so far to use him as little as they have, I feel bad for the guy. I mean, another good podcast is like, hey man, at least he's picking up a check. I'm like, no, I get it, but it just seems like a waste.
There was one shot.
Not that anyone was expecting Hayden Christensen to come back. But again, we got 2 episodes. Maybe there's going to be a big moment where they have some sort of flashback, or even as, again, mind to mind, that even though he's in the armor and he's talking like James Earl Jones, and it can be Hayden in his mind.
There was one far shot when Obi-Wan was in that car or whatever, and he saw somebody with the cloak. I think that was Hayden standing there, but it could have been anybody because he had the hood on. It's like,
maybe for sake of continuity, they did the same thing they did to David Prowse. They made him say all the lines, and then they dubbed him over afterwards without telling him.
That's true. Yeah. Yeah.
No, you're right about that.
But okay, here's Obi-Wan. Here's the big problem. Okay, we're gonna do this.
Well, I was gonna say real fast. Dowd says, speaking of Qui-Gon, is Liam not being used because of the dumb things he said in the media?
No,
I think it is. I think it is, but go ahead. Tell me.
I think they're going to do a surprise because
I think he's going to show up.
He came out and said, "Oh, I don't do television. I just do movies." I go, "Why would you even bring that up if you didn't want to like? Oh, I'm Andrew Garfield. I'm not in the new Spider-Man movie." And then he shows up in it. I think they don't want to ruin everything for you. You got 2 episodes left, and I was going back to the Star Trek. In the beginning here, Obi-Wan on this episode is mounting a rescue attempt. He's swimming underwater with this breather thing. Why doesn't he bring 2 of them? Because when he gets little Leia, he could just put that in her mouth and they could swim out the way he came. So I'm like, so you got no way of getting out of this thing when you get here. And you're...
It would have saved 20 minutes.
The only thing this movie does for me is reinforce how grungy Obi-Wan is, okay?
Yeah.
Because if you go back to the prequel episodes, those guys never change their tunics, their Jedi outfits, and they're underwater, and then they're sweating, and then they're on a dune planet, and then they're on this planet. And those guys, like that, man, that's some grungy Jedi robes you got there.
Not only that,
stand up, win, will you please?
He comes out of the water. He's fully clothed. I'm like, look, I don't know about you, but I've walked the dog in the rain, and your clothes are soaked. I'm like, how is he going to walk through this thing without dripping wet everywhere? I'm like, that's okay.
He's got the Jedi hair dryer power.
It repelled it. But then he's like knocking out stormtroopers left and right. I'm like, why did you steal a stormtrooper armor? It's been done before. That way you could walk amongst them easily. But no, we don't do that. And the best ever stupid reason why why the stormtrooper armor is horrible is when that double agent woman she gets caught. She literally hits one of the stormtroopers in the head with her fist, and the guy falls down. I go, oh my God, what is this made out of? An eggshell?
The Empire is so stretched thin that they're cutting costs everywhere.
They can't.
They're making shoddy construction equipment. They're making shoddy stormtrooper armor. Come on.
Come on,
just so everybody knows, and I don't think you can hear it, but we're getting serious thunder and lightning. So if I do cut out, it's because of that, because everything's plugged in. But don't. I'll try to. Actually, I guess I could get on my iPad, so I'll try to do that. But yeah, if I
without
you,
don't touch that dial
until I get back. So yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But okay, anyway, the whole Leia thing. She's going to get tortured. Then she confesses that the third sister, whatever her name is, that's like, Vader's coming to get you. So Vader shows up at the end and he's choking her because you failed me for the last time.
Right.
I put a tracker on. Oh, you did? Okay. You got a day off. You can go about your business.
Yeah.
But
I'm okay with that.
How safe is this Imperial fortress that the rebel people not only land, they have snow speeders come out, save them, and then they get away? I'm like, why did you send ships? You got a whole fucking army there. Why didn't you go blow them out of the sky? Yes, exactly. They showed the TIE fighters when he's walking by. I'm like, why didn't you get in?
I said that. I was watching it with my son, and when they took off, I was like, do none of them know? Because they showed it to us in 3 other scenes that there's like a rack of TIE fighters hanging right above your head.
I know, and the snowspeeder is a slow moving thing because I remember it from Empire Strikes. It wasn't like it's not fast. It's a little tiny like dune buggy thing. I don't know. I don't know what they're doing because I had this fight with somebody online. I said, listen, here's what they'll say when you complain about Star Wars. It's meant for children. And I hate when they say that because I'm going to tell you, you must not like children or you must hang around with some real stupid kids because listen, you got a show that has the hero slaughtering little kids. That's not for kids. You've got the aunt and uncle get barbecued. You've got Count Dooku gets decapitated. You get Jango Fett gets decapitated. This is not a kid's story. It's evolved. You might have been a kid when you saw it, but you're an adult now. But no, it's just for kids. It's just for kids.
Yeah. They pepper in little things for kids, like when they have the little youngling like encased in amber. Like dinosaur amber when he's walking through the halls.
I thought it looked like remember Austin Powers in the first movie when he was frozen. That's all I thought. I was like, is that Austin Powers? Like,
Someone did a meme of that and put it up online. I'm like, yes, that's exactly what it is.
Oh my god! And then there's that one little kid that had the hat, had the oh no face, like
yeah. He's like, oh, I'm about to get killed. Oh, they put me in amber.
I swear, one of them looked like Sam Jackson in the background. I go, oh my god, is that Mace Windu? That they
Honestly,
why not take?
I still want a Qui-Gon movie that could be a flashback. I want a Mace Windu movie.
Why not? They're doing a Yoda comic book now.
Yeah, there's an awesome fan theory. Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say it's Celebration.
Yeah.
Kathleen Kennedy's on the red carpet, and they ask her about Donald Glover coming back as young Lando, and she's like, would love to do it. He's just busy doing movies and his own TV show, which is totally fair. But
I read two things. I read two things about Star Wars that kind of made me perk up, and forgive me because I don't remember the source. I just remember reading them. One, someone posed a TV series, a Star Wars TV series that I thought would be awesome, where you have Billy D. Williams playing himself as Lando, and he's at a poker table telling stories, and then when they do the flashbacks of these stories, it's Dan Glover.
Oh, that's cool.
Doing those. I'm like, that's a really cool idea. How cool would it be to do that? And then the other one,
like the Indiana Jones Chronicle.
Yeah, young Indiana Jones. Yeah,
absolutely. Go on.
That'd be cool. And then the other, there's a fan theory about Mace Windu and why he has the only purple lightsaber is that it was blue and it starts turning purple because he uses the dark side.
Ooh.
To like where no other Jedi really has.
That'd be cool.
And he rebuffs it, but he uses a little bit of it, and that's why his lightsaber turns purple. So I'm like, those are two cool ideas you should make into fruition.
It's like Doctor Strange using the dark hold, and suddenly he starts turning bad or something.
Yeah.
Interesting. God, I'm glad I'm in the basement. Apparently, a tornado warning happening.
Oh, that's even when we see Johnny go off to Oz, right on the air. There's no place like home.
He's using the Force.
Mitch was there. It was a lot weirder.
Yeah. You were there, and you were there.
Oh God!
And Star Trek was good.
All the Top Guild. In Oz, new Star Trek is fantastic.
It's good. Yeah, everybody watches Discovery.
Discovery's amazing.
Must have been hit in the head by the storm cellar. Yeah.
Well, Langley agreed. Yeah, Langley's like they announced the Orlando series, but Lucasfilms announces crap that never happens all the time. Again, I really believe they eventually have every intention in doing it, but all of a sudden, Donald Glover is doing. Isn't he on Atlanta?
Yeah, the man.
He's writing, executive producer on that show.
That's his own show, man.
And he's Childish Gambino, so he's got a recording.
That's like back to Star Trek. Sorry, man, I didn't mean to step on you with that. But just like Star Trek, now that Michelle Yeoh has another big movie like Crazy Rich Asians, it's like good luck, she's ever coming back. Bye, and that's fine. God bless her. That's cool. But I just love that they invested so heavily in her, and it's like. I don't need this bullshit anymore. And earlier, if Strange New World is doing better than Discovery, I haven't seen any numbers. What I have seen is nearly universal love of this show.
Oh yeah.
People like us that are so vocally disappointed in most of new Star Trek are loving Strange New Worlds. So I really hope.
But even new people, I've seen a few new people that have watched the show and love the show.
Yeah.
Again, the writing is better. The characters are better. Why wouldn't you?
And Anson Mount is hot.
Yeah.
Yeah, baby. Everything always. That's
I want to watch that.
Yeah.
Atlanta is ending, but he's
that's right.
Reboot of Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
Oh,
right.
Okay.
Yeah, for Amazon, and that's awesome.
They should do another Trek. What I was going to, the next Trek show should be like After Trek, like After MASH, where they show you what happened to O'Brien and Bashir, like a little one-off episode, just a little special series.
Well, didn't you say that, Johnny, where they should do like a compilation
anthology,
show, like 1 or 2 episodes of these characters or something like that,
under the umbrella of Starfleet Academy? Do a Starfleet Academy show, and all the vets are now teachers and commanders.
That'd be fun.
Yeah, they could go on away missions, and also. Let's have a Starfleet medical series or special. Let's have a spy special. There's actually
Star Trek ER.
Well, it's funny. Yeah,
CSI.
Mentioning the spy thing, there is a Star Wars spy show that's in the works, and it's the showrunner or one of the main writers from The Americans that is going to do it, and it's called Star Wars Andor. And all the
Oh,
nerds
that's
are
right,
like,
yeah.
well, they got really talented people coming in to do this thing. Maybe this is going to be one of the ones that actually stand out and get everybody excited.
That's actually filmed already. That's coming out in the fall.
See,
That's
but
with,
again,
Daniel
my issue
Luna.
is we know what happens to that character. Why? What?
Which
You know,
character, buddy?
He gets killed in the
Andor
Rogue
in
One.
Rogue One.
Oh,
Yeah. You know, like why
Yeah.
can't you
And
just
I'll
come up
tell you,
with a
that's
brand new
great.
character?
What's that?
I thought Andor was a planet. That's hilarious. I
No,
know
Andor's a
Andor
planet.
is.
Andor's
I
the
realized
guy.
that, but
Yeah.
I forgot that. Yeah, is that Diego Luna?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
who it is. Yeah.
Well, again, I don't mind. Yeah, but I agree with what you're saying.
Again, it could be fine. It could be perfectly fine. My pet peeve. Yeah.
Make somebody.
Well,
new.
they were going to do that X-wing squadron, which is like the Adventures of Wedge Antilles and his crew. It's like, oh, that's cool. That's like a whole other, like a Baba Black Sheep type of show where they're out there fighting stuff. So.
Doubt thinks we should pitch the Starfleet Academy idea to IDW. Doubt, what I do want to do is, if you heard me talk to Jonathan Frakes, I want to do a 10-page IDW story of Will Riker and Tom Riker. That Will meets Tom after he's finally been released from whatever Cardassian prison that he didn't get out with the Dominion War, that it took even longer because of some of the war crimes he did with the Maquis, that he might be one of those kind of war criminals where, you can see it in geopolitics here on Earth, where it's like, no, he did far worse crimes. I know the war's over, but no, this guy sucks.
He's the Albert Speer of Star Trek, the guy that kept over in prison in England after World War II for like 40 years. It's like, why don't you let that guy go? It's like, fuck no. He was one of the main Nazis. Yeah, but he didn't. He came to England with peace treaties and got shot down or whatever. He was never in the war during the war itself, but they never let him out. They locked him up for the rest of his life. So
yeah,
Albert
I know. I got to talk to J.K. Woodward about who I need to talk to, because Sarah, I want to say it was Sarah Gatos who was running IDW Star Trek comics, and really like hardcore Star Trek fan, and she's no longer with the company. And I even got her to admit to me at a con, come on, Discovery, and she's like, it could be better. And it's like, all right, that's all I want. I'm like, thank you.
It's not just you.
Exactly. You feel like you're insane, and it's like the Super Hayward Snake Pit movie.
Yeah, like, am I watching something totally different than all these other
I
people?
know.
Like,
I do that all the time. Like, yeah.
So
what else was? Oh, you want to talk about The Boys now?
Don't you want to talk about your favorite show?
Yeah, hold off till the end, Mitch.
Orville?
I think I'll have the least to say about The Boys, because sadly, as I told you guys off the air, I'm still on episode 2. It's fantastic, and I love the idea of Soldier Boy. We'll get to that in a minute. Orville,
yes.
As far as I'm concerned, they're 2 for 2. It was a great episode. I had to pull a screen cap like I did with that poor kid, and I think there's something in my eye. Which one? I don't know. I got 4 right now. I'll get back to you. That was it. That was icky, but I really liked it. I liked the way it ended. That maybe we'll see that race again. I bet we will. And that it's this admiral got turned that obviously has the former relationship with the doctor. I thought all that was really good. And I know Franco. I know one of Franco's pet peeves of the episode, but I'm enjoying it. And I gotta say, I'm real fast. I'm enjoying it so much that I want to re-watch a lot of the first and second season episodes. And I had my issues with the first season. Now, knowing the characters better, as we talked about with Trek, those episodes play a lot better in rerun, because now I know them better and I'll accept the snark. And there is still too much snark, especially in that first season. But again, I think this third season, so far, they're 2 for 2.
No, I did. It was okay. I will admit this much, that it was a better episode than some of the ones I've seen. My issues with this is it was very telegraphed. You can see where everything was going right from the beginning, setting up the doctor that she was dating. I'm going away on this mission, and then him getting sprayed in the face. I'm like, it's not good. Like as soon as it happened, it's like you should really wipe that stuff off your face.
But right. When the alien thing grabs O'Neill's face.
But it was really telegraphed. Yeah, it was really telegraphed. So I could see where everything was going. My biggest pet peeve, however, is a little snarky company, the Force be with you. Oh, we're really getting a piano or a pool table in the comments. I'm like, Why? Why do you even need that in there? Why? If you
those are such small moments. I'm not gonna.
They poke me out so much. They really do.
The worst one they did so far was the first episode, and it said, we got to make like a Rube Goldfarb machine. I'm like, there's no fucking way anybody in this day and age knows who the hell Rube Goldfarb or whatever, the guy that used to make those wacky designs.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to tell me in the future when the engineer goes, yeah, I just Rube Goldfarb. No one's going to know what he's talking about, and he wouldn't even know that. But it's one of those things, like John says, and my buddy said about the fly fishing with the Dr. Ubanga. They just do that so they can say, oh, look, there's links back to, and she was going to go watch a movie with her kid that weekend. She didn't want to go to dinner with the guy because they were going to go watch something. They just do that to try to show that it's still on the earth.
I hear what you're saying, Mitch, but I do understand Franco's point of, would we be like regurgitating, like I've said before, Viking references from 1,000 years ago or 500 years ago, even, let's say, during the Renaissance? Well, you know what they said during the Renaissance, blah, blah. And it's like, I understand why they're doing it. I accept it more from a behavioral standpoint, like Mabanga fly fishing, because that is a basic kind of nature, one-on-one kind of timeless thing that has existed for, since Neanderthal times, I'm sure.
But they didn't have the hat back then.
No, they didn't have the hat. No. But again, it's like, no, but you're still using lures or whatever to catch fish. Who the hell knows? No, I love it. You don't know. I didn't mind.
I mean, every little kid knows the Yankee Doodle song, and that goes back 200 years. Yeah, but that's who's to say what survives and what doesn't survive?
I suppose, but no. I mean, I was rewatching the first Krill or the second Krill episode where they infiltrate the Krill's ship, and you find out about, and then they made references to it in this new episode that the Krill worship Avis, and Gordon had too many Avis rental car jokes where it's like, okay, put the toy down. We got it the first time. But yeah, and I did like the callback when he told the rest of the group, see, I told you, Avis, what the hell? So
my other pet peeve too is you talk about Star Trek ripping off other people. This is almost like a rip off of Star Trek where they basically just made a Borg like race for the Orville.
Well, that's Isaac's race, right?
Yeah. The
well, no, with this characters too, like they just take over the species and stuff like that. But yeah,
but that's an alien virus, dude. There's a great classic sci-fi story that was dramatized on the great sci-fi radio show of the 50s, X-1 or Dimension X. I think it's X. It's the same producers. They changed the name. The episode was called The Junkyard, and an Earth crew goes to a planet. Their engines are exhausted. They find the remains of another ship and figure out a way to jury rig the alien engines to their own to get back to Earth. But they've got people exploring, kind of like in that Uhura episode. There's like some sort of thing that's giving off an alien transmission, and they're listening to it. But as they listen to it, it has a virus, and the humans that are listening to it become alien. And it's like, hey, we got to get the crew that's been monitoring all the information. And the captain's like, no, they're staying. And it's like, look at them. And yeah, and again, it's done. It's all radio, but it really is a great concept. And I liken this Orville more to that than I do the Borg. But that's and I see Isaac's race as kind of a combination of Data and the Borg.
Yeah. I do agree with Wayne that I do like the fact that they couldn't change the crew back. That they left them as those alien type monsters, and we might see them again.
Oh, I think again, I think we can count on it. Wayne points out obviously the old tradition of sitting around a campfire eating beans
and singing "Row, row, row your boat" and eating marshmallows.
Langley is correct. The Orville was originally pitched to Paramount as a potential Trek series. Absolutely. Wow. Thank God Seth MacFarlane, kind of like Elementary and Sherlock, in that originally CBS was going to franchise Sherlock for the American audience, but they wanted to make changes, and Stephen Moffat's like, nah, not with my show. And all of a sudden, somebody at CBS is like, Sherlock Holmes is in public domain. We can just make our own show. And it's like, oh yeah. And it's like, then we got 6 seasons of Elementary.
Yes.
Whatever they were. But no, I think minor snark aside, I really like what's happening on the Orville. I'm stunned and pleased. My lights are flickering, so we'll see.
Yeah. What do you think about the effects, John? You think they're really good?
I think they're amazing. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Jesus. Yeah.
They really have poured a lot of money into this new season.
They did. No,
and the end of the last season, yeah.
They see the potential of
well, they got Disney money. Disney money now, so that's why I was like, yeah.
But again, it did sound like, okay, we're giving you a big budget. You better perform this season. If not, hey, you got 3 seasons. Congratulations.
Well, I don't know how long it's going to take. I mean, we could ask them when they come to Terrificon next month on July 29th to the 31st.
5 of the 7 cast members. The only
that's
ones
right
coming are Seth MacFarlane
and Penny
Johnson, the Doctor,
and Mark Shepard, who plays Isaac. He's Isaac.
Oh, he's not coming? Oh, that's too bad.
I don't have Isaac. No.
All right, that's okay.
How do I know it's not Hayden Christensen in that outfit?
That's
how the hell do I know? It could just be Mark Shepard's voice.
Hey, on an side note, Hayden Christensen's coming to Terrificon.
You're all not
afraid that they're going out with a bang. Do you mean the Orville? No, I think.
No,
it sounds, again, based on the interviews I've heard Seth do, and also Brandon Braga and Dave Goodman, 3 of the writers. Obviously,
I think they want it to continue if the numbers are there.
Yeah,
and also knowing that it might be the last season, they took advantage of the COVID time to really tweak these stories and make them as good as they felt they could be. And again, I trust David Goodman. I trust Brandon Braga because they know how to make good Star Trek. And I know Orville's a parody, but I'm okay with that. And it's at the end of the day, just like we said about, don't make, what did we say earlier? Was it Discovery or something? Or no, it's Fan Four Stick. Fantastic, the Josh Trank Fantastic Four movie. It's a fun, interesting sci-fi superhero movie. Just don't call them Fantastic Four.
Oh yeah.
What about Orville? Don't call it Star Trek.
You know what? I was looking for Orville comic books because I knew Dark Horse made some this weekend, and the guy said, "Oh, they haven't been out in about a year or so because
but there's trades."
There's trades, yeah. And then I said, "Did they merchandise anything with Orville?" He said, "Oh, they made those little HeroClix figures, and that was about it." And I'm like, "Well, that's not helping it either because there's no, as far as I know, there's no replica models of the ship or
there are
the insignia. Are there? Like
Eagle
Moss makes them. Yeah,
the Orville and the shuttle, because my buddy Chuck has them.
Oh, okay. Because I was going to say,
cracked me up. I came over one day and on his shelf he's got the Orville and he's got the shuttle. I'm like, what? I'm like, who made those? He's like, Eagle Moss. I'm like, that's fantastic. Yeah.
Because God knows there's so much Trek stuff out there. You can't go to a Target or a Hallmark without seeing so much stuff. So I mean, that doesn't help it that it's not in the public eye because there's no merch.
I hear you. I agree.
I think sorry, Johnny, to cut you off, but the other thing that doesn't put them that puts them out of the public eye is taking them off Network Fox and putting them on Hulu.
Yeah,
also, but much like
Stranger Things
Futurama,
is on.
Well, no, let me explain my point. Much like Futurama leaving Fox and gaining new life and new seasons on Comedy Central. Hulu extended the life of the Orville, and Fox obviously got sold from day one. When Seth MacFarlane proposed this to Fox, he's like, I want to make a half-hour comedy, and it's going to cost this much. And Fox's response was, that's a big budget. It needs to be an hour. So they padded out the episodes, and they made them into an hour, and we had the semi-okay but not completely great first season. I think it got better. And now I think this 3rd season's better. And I think that's also partially, I don't know who controls the merch rights. I would assume it's Seth. But also, again, I think 2 years of nothing because of COVID didn't help. I agree that the jump from Fox to Hulu didn't help. And I mean, hey, there have been a lot of attempts at other merch for potential franchises that have failed.
Yeah. No, I was just sitting there going, Orville would get a good shot in the arm if more people knew about it when they went out there and said, "Oh, that's the Orville." Like that, Where's the Funko Pop Orville figures?
Honestly, Mitch, I really think you chose, in the words of The Last Crusade, you chose wisely, because I really think, especially given that their appearance at Terrificon is going to happen, 2/3 of the season already done,
right,
or near the end. I'm not sure.
Right near the finale, actually, because there's only 10
there you go.
episodes.
There you go. I honestly think that's only going to help, and I really think this season is going to prove to be a success. I think the fact that it's coming out along, Star Trek is very lucky, and thank God they finally listened to us. And Strange New Worlds is as good as it is, because if this was running against Discovery, they'd be eating their lunch.
Oh, well, what's interesting is when I was going to announce the Orville people back in March, that's when the show was supposed to premiere. Right. And they pulled called an audible on a Monday. It was supposed to be that Friday, but that's when Picard season 2 dropped. And suddenly Hulu said, oh no, we're going to move this to June. I'm like, what are you doing? Because I literally had all the contracts in place. And then once I heard that, I go, I'll hold off, because I think they were afraid of Picard. I think they were so afraid that Paramount was going to steal the limelight. They said, oh, we'll do it when the Strange New Worlds comes out. And here you go. Strange New Worlds is better than Picard and Discovery combined. And now they're going head to head with another good Star Trek. But also Stranger Things came out and The Boys. I mean, it's a tough time right now to be a new show. And you got Obi Wan. There's a lot of competition right out there for the Orville. So,
well, I don't believe it is competition. It is from an attention standpoint.
Yeah.
But it's at your. I mean, again, we'll talk about The Boys for a moment before we wrap up. But I was going to say, no, you can watch it at your own pace and enjoy.
Yeah, I was going to say it's right at your fingertips anytime you want it. So yeah.
I like that they're doing one a week. I think that helps. That one a week to extend it, because when you drop all the episodes in 1 weekend, like Stranger Things, you watch it and then it's done. And then the season part 2 doesn't come out to the end of July.
Right, and the buzz goes away. The water cooler weekly, or what they used to say about Johnny Carson and his nightly monologue the next day. Oh my God, did you watch Carson last night?
Everyone talks about it. Yeah.
No, I mean, I think Amazon has the best model in. Okay, we're gonna give you, and then again, good way to transition into The Boys. Here's the first 3, and now the subsequent ones are going to be weekly. I think that's great, because it gives you more than just a first episode taste.
Yeah.
And also you have that anticipation of, man, I can't wait for the next chapter.
You know what? How do they really measure ratings on this? Is it downloads, really? Because I'm always amazed to me, because it's subscriber services, it's downloads. I mean,
well, it's all internal, and it's what each subscriber service is willing to divulge. I learned that with Bendis on the Powers TV show. And he's like, Sony knows the numbers. Netflix, Amazon, everyone knows the actual numbers. And every now and then, Netflix will release numbers to a degree. Right. But they're unlike terrestrial over-the-air broadcasting, where you're competing with other things, and you are also trying to get sponsorship. Yeah. So that, and maybe internally, for the ones that do run commercials, they are providing sponsors with numbers. I have no idea. But for the longest time, Nielsen ratings were made available to the public. And now, actually, again, being in radio, in the last couple of years, the radio, at least on the radio side, and I'm sure the television side is the same way, they kind of requested to Nielsen, that does the ratings, don't divulge it to the public. This is between us and our advertisers.
Really?
So you need to be a subscriber in the same way that individual television stations are per market, and I'm sure the networks have the same thing. That's how you get access to the Nielsen ratings, because our media critic in town, Bob Feeder, stopped getting access to the book because and of the minutia of the book and the various age demographics and the real stuff that now is even more important to advertisers and stuff. But again, the streaming model has changed the way television and media is disseminated, and it's really even more. It's more about buzz. It really is more
like they'll say Obi Wan is now the most downloaded show ever on Disney. I'm like, okay, well, that's like Disney. What does that mean to the rest of the universe, and how does that stand with, like, the last episode of MASH or something? But you'll never know, I guess.
I don't think those numbers are ever going to match that.
The audience is much more fragmented than it ever has been. Good Lord, I literally got today from Inside Radio what Nielsen did release about the radio stations, and I was telling Mitch the basic demographic is everybody from age 12 to 64, and the highest rated station in Chicago, and these numbers are arbitrary, but the highest rated station got a 6. And for most of my broadcast career and radio life, the top stations would sometimes get double digits.
Wow.
Or an 8 or a 9 at least. But again, that shows you how much the terrestrial audience is diminishing.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, it's like comic books too. I mean, you could go into that.
Yes.
You know?
Yes. 100%. Absolutely. Again, more media choices and options. And I think that's one of the big reasons why the comic book audience obviously diminished as well. Kids have more entertainment options than they did when we were little kids. So, but otherwise, in general, loving the boys. Again, I'm only 2 episodes in. I will catch up. Hopefully by next episode. I know I said that last week too.
It's gross and funny and gross, but I like it. Yeah.
Did you catch young Indiana Jones on the show?
Which one?
He is Soldier Boy's sidekick. He's the Bucky.
Oh, okay.
And Sean Patrick Flannery is the grown-up guy. He was at the gun show. He's like, "Hey, you got to stop with their I didn't recognize him.
I didn't recognize him either.
No, they were in the bathroom having a fight, talking to each other. Butcher, and I go, there's something about gunpowder. I said, there's something about that kid that looks familiar. And then I Google, I go, oh my God, that's Sean Patrick Flannery. It's nice to see he's still working, But yeah, he hasn't done much since Boondock Saints and stuff.
No. Although I agree with Art Baltazar, who said, they ought to throw you a couple $1 million and have you do a transitional Indiana Jones movie before they cast a new guy, because all the fans will accept you as Indiana Jones. And it's like, yeah. Again, it's like bringing Hayden Christensen back. It's like, sure. On paper, that's fantastic.
He's the perfect age for it now. He's like 54, 55. It'd be like, and he's in shape. So what the hell? And he was Indy for a couple of years on TV. So give it to him.
But no, I'm really enjoying the boys. It's so funny because not only is it a great parody of superhero movies and the idea of superheroes, but making them celebrities. You can't help but think of, and I'm sorry to bring it even up again, but the Will Smith slap, and then watch the way Homelander kind of cruises around, and you even in public sometimes you kind of see the veneer of the good guy just kind of slipping a little bit. And I just honestly, everything about that show, I just think is so fucking good.
See, I've never read the comic, so I don't know how faithful it is to the Garth Ennis book.
It's very broad strokes, but that's fine. That's good.
Garth Ennis, isn't he coming to Terrific?
He's coming to Terrificon on July 29th to the 31st. Tickets on sale.
Is the co-creator Derek Robinson coming or no? Yeah. I know you've met him before. No? Okay. I like Derek. I like Garth. I like them both.
Yeah, I like both of them. Yeah.
But yeah, no, I'm really enjoying the boys, and I look forward to seeing 3 and 4 because I know, like I said, I know that Soldier Boy is a very big part of the story.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. How many episodes is this show? Like 6, 7 episodes or whatever?
No, I'm assuming 10.
Is it 10?
Yeah, I'm assuming. Yeah.
There's a lot of shows that never. I don't know whatever happened to Umbrella Academy. I know
that's coming back. Coming back at the end of this month. Yeah.
Oh, that's already. Wow.
At the end of this month or next month, but that's a show I've enjoyed quite a bit, more than I thought I would actually.
Sandman is coming up on Netflix.
Sandman's coming out.
Only Murders in the Building is coming up back for season 2 at the end of this month.
Yeah, I'm glad I have off from work for the summer because I got a lot to watch.
And also, isn't it interesting that they are timing the release of these shows when the networks are resting and doing reruns? And I noticed that with basic cable for years. Shows like USA, like Suits, and a lot of their shows, they would premiere in the winter when we were in reruns on the networks. Yep. They would premiere in the summer when we were in networks and in network reruns. So yeah, it's very, very interesting.
Did you happen?
The Sandman audio is great. That's on Audible, and yes, Langley's right. The summer is stacked. Absolutely.
Did you happen to catch Ms. Marvel at all?
Not yet.
I did.
I did.
You guys go ahead and without spoiling, please.
Well, I mean, obviously, I understand it's made for a younger audience, but I liked it. I don't know the character, so I was like, this is kind of fun.
I think the BS surrounding their background and their culture and stuff like that, because it's just stupid. But I thought it was a lot of fun. I thought it took a little too long to get to its point, but it reminded me more of Peter Parker as a young Spider-Man than the movies have. Not the comics, but the movies, and I enjoyed it quite a bit. And yeah, they changed their character from the comics a little bit, but I thought it was great. I thought it's a good start. I'd really like to see where it's going from here. Again, maybe it took a little too long to get to its point in the first episode, but I liked it.
Yeah, it was fun overall. Like I said, I had no familiarity with her other than the one in the 70s with Carol Danvers. So I didn't know what the hell the story was about. But
yeah, it's completely different. But yeah.
God forbid we have diversity in comics. Ooh, can't do that.
I know. I will catch up. Wayne says the interaction of the family is very real.
Yep.
And based on my interactions with my friend's family, it's a universal immigrant story.
I was going to say, being the son of an immigrant, it just totally different food, but it reminded me a lot of what was in my family.
Yeah, and the mom and dad. I was going to say the mom and dad are trying to relate to her, and the mom makes a costume because she wants to go to a Comic-Con type of thing about Avengers, and it was actually sad. I'm watching it going, oh, the poor mom went out of her way to make her, and the dad was all into it. He's like, I'll be the Hulk, and you be little Hulk. And she's like, you're stupid. I don't want to go out with you. I'm like, and I got kids. So I was like, I could see that and understand totally.
I was going to say, you're going to watch this as a kid and think one thing, and you're going to watch it as an adult and see something completely different.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So
Dowd is right. Even though Carol may not be in the series, Ms. Marvel will be in the next Carol movie. So
yes, yeah.
Well, I think like maybe Qui-Gon showing up at the end of Obi Wan.
Maybe
I think Brie Larson might show up at some point in the Ms. Marvel series. Maybe. You never know.
The way
not that she's needed or that they have to, but you never know.
No, but the way they intended Cumberbatch to be at the end of WandaVision.
Right. I just heard a podcast the other day. They said if you go back and look at the original timeline before COVID and how this was all supposed to work and how it was supposed to dovetail into the other one, I go, oh, no wonder things are a little weird. Like WandaVision was supposed to end, and the next week Doctor Strange was supposed to come out. Yep. So you go right there, and then right after Doctor Strange ended, it was supposed to go into another one and then go ultimately into Spider-Man No Way Home to make like a whole mini story. But because they had to reshoot and schedule things, it's kind of cockeyed,
and scheduling when COVID finally relaxed, and we could feel more comfortable going back to the theaters. No, man, and again, that's why all this product was stacking up. And as much as I do feel for Scarlett Johansson with her beef with the Marvel people that she got screwed on money because it came out on streaming rather than in the theaters,
right?
And a lot of other people like that, it's like. Yeah, but ultimately it's their product, and they got to put it out because they have too much stuff in the pipeline.
Yeah, I mean, because you needed her sister to tie into Hawkeye, which is like a domino thing. They can't just we're not going to put any of these out because 6 other shows are in limbo, circling the gate trying to get in there because you got to wait. Yeah. So,
absolutely.
After it's all over, they'll probably here's what was originally supposed to happen and how it was going to work, because I hear a lot of people complaining that Marvel's lost right now, that they don't have a big Avengers Endgame type of phase 4. I'm like, they're trying to figure this out.
They're building to it.
Yeah. Oh no, everybody wants it like this. Come on, hurry up.
Well, forgive me, but exactly, that just shows you again, sadly, the uninformed mentality of the fan. And also, as we saw with Star Wars, if you put too much out all at once, it kind of becomes ordinary. I am, and part of me is happy that new Trek has struggled, because thankfully now when we finally got a show that we all love, it's like, all right, now they've figured things out, and now we are almost like, all right, what do you got next? But again, I just think, it's like, let them build. I mean, is this still phase 4? Is this? Yeah, I guess it is technically.
Yeah, it is, but
or is it phase 5? I don't even know.
No, it's phase 4.
Okay, I don't know. I don't keep it.
I don't know. It is what it is. Hey,
I was told there'd be no math today.
There's superhero movies, and I bought my tickets today for Thor. They're going to say I'm not taking Franco once again. So sorry, I bought my tickets IMAX theater.
Sorry, I'm pretty sure I'm on vacation that week.
It's always been Ordway. Yeah, I bought him opening night IMAX theater.
Right.
So
we're gonna have to worry about a week without Franco because he's going to be on radio and television silence while he's enjoying his summer vacation.
Must be nice.
Like a week or so.
It's gonna be, especially after the year I've had.
Yeah. Good night.
Wait a minute. When are you going away?
I believe July 4th weekend I'm away, or week I'm away.
Okay. I was going to say I'm away in the Martha's Vineyard, Cape Cod area, July 19th to the 20th before Terrificon. So I was going to go bother Franco and Yvette.
Let's get together.
Well, I'll show up and wave.
Let's get together. Yeah.
No, Johnny will want us to podcast while we're on vacation.
Well, no,
did you guys watch Trek?
Don't worry.
Watch it.
No, and I'm glad you said which weekend because I can either it could just be me and Mitch, or regardless, I can also invite other Trek people. I'd love to have J.K. Woodward talk about Star Trek with us. I'd love to have Larry Young from AIT Planet Lair and John Price join us on a show if their schedules would allow. Because I love their YouTube Star Trek critique show. It's called Seriously Star Trek. They do it every Friday afternoon at 3:00 Eastern, and it's a very good Trek show. And they are very clear-eyed. I mean, Larry really likes Lower Decks. John still has some issues with a lot of the live action stuff, but he likes Lower Decks too more than I do. But I feel like and again they see the pluses of Strange New Worlds, but they have their nitpicks as well. So, and I agree, Doubt, you're right. Wayne was also good as a real Star Trek talk co-host. I agree with that. Absolutely.
Real quick, Johnny, is there any Strange New World novels or comics coming out soon?
As far as I know, I'm sure they're in the pipeline. Right. I don't think anything's been announced yet. And I would look to Comic-Con and other conventions for IDW to make those kinds of announcements. But that said, there are a ton of great Pike novels that have been making
for years.
One of my favorites was Michael Jan Friedman's one. It's 30 years old. It was 92, and I think I've still got the picture. Cover.
Not Vulcan Glory.
Vulcan Glory is the DC Fontana one that Una's story, but that's a great Pike novel. But no, I'm talking about Legacy, and Legacy. Okay. The guy on the right is a Pike villain that suddenly appears again during the original series, and you get the Pike story in half the novel, and you get the current TOS story, and also you get Pike on Talos 4 with Vina post menagerie. Think like the Talosians are letting him know Spock is facing one of your former adversaries. And he's talking to the Talosians, and he's like, "Is there anything I can do to help him?" Without spoiling more of the story. But it's great because, and I love watching Christopher Pike post Menagerie. What was his final years like on Talos 4? And there's also a 2007 or 2008 Pike book. I don't remember the name of it, but you can find it very easily. A woman wrote it, and it's the best Chris Pike book I've ever read. It totally fits in with Strange New World continuity. You won't see the new characters. But who cares? You got Una, you got Spock, you've got a lot of the people from the Cage and the Menagerie that show up, and those are great stories. And Dr. Boyce, I miss Dr. Boyce on the live action.
I actually thought the character that was on last week, that Lindsay Booth or whatever her name was, the actress, I thought that was supposed to be the woman that was in the flashback in Talos 4. Remember that big castle? And the big guy, she had like a fairy princess. I go, is that supposed to be that character? Because she's like, oh, remember when? And they look like an old medieval.
I was wondering that as well, man. But
okay. I was like, oh, maybe that's who that is. But
JD points out that there is a comic coming, or I believe.
Oh, John Jackson
Miller, Strange New Worlds, the High Country in February of 2023.
Wow.
Doubt asks, are we psyched for the Quantum Leap reboot? I'm certainly interested in watching the Quantum Leap reboot. I'm really pissed off unless it's another fake out that Bakula's not that Sam Beckett and Bakula are not involved. Why
Why
no
even
problem.
call it that then?
Yeah, I have no and also it sounds like it's a new scientist who's following Sam Beckett's research, so it maybe it's a big fake out, but it's like no, man. I mean, again, you could focus on a new character, but why wouldn't you have Sam Beckett still unstuck in time? Or
Ernie Hudson's in it playing the Dean Stockwell character, right?
I didn't know that. I believe
it.
I believe so,
yeah.
I'm very psyched for the
actor that's going to be the lead character.
Yeah, I'm very psyched for the Night Court reboot
with John Larroquette as the judge.
John Larroquette. No, I think he's still a lawyer, but it's Harry's daughter is a lawyer, and it's the blonde girl that was Wolowitz's wife in The Big Bang Theory.
Oh,
and she's executive producer as well. I think she's the one that got it to series.
Yeah, no, and she's a good comedian. I liked her Gymnast movie, and I have faith that
Roush,
this will be fun.
Something Roush,
Melissa Roush.
Yeah. No, she's funny, and she's very cute. Again, hate to be a horn dog, but it's like, yeah, all right.
Not as cute as Spike, though. Come on.
Yeah, and I'm with Dowd. Anything.
She's no Marky Post.
God bless Marky Post. We all miss her.
We do. She was great.
She was incredibly great. No, and Mike points out too, Skokie Spidey was still supposed to get a Frasier reboot as well.
Oh, really?
God, that, and again, I know I've mentioned it before, Guilty Pleasure on HBO Max, that Julia Child TV series they did.
I have to finish watching it.
David Hyde Pierce. Oh, did you just finish?
No, I have to finish. I haven't watched
you have to finish. David Hyde Pierce is Paul Child, Julia's husband.
Oh.
And Phoebe Newirth is on the show as Julia Child's best
So it's kind of almost like Frasier.
It's like Frasier without Kelsey Grammer.
It is like early 60s in the very rich area of Boston, like maybe Brookline or whatever. I don't know, but it does smack of Frasier in a very good way, but still very different and true to the real story. But oh my God, I love that show. Oh my God. So, I didn't know that. Langley says maybe Marky Post was going to be a part of the show. I didn't know that.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's sad. It is sad because again, great actress, great character actress. She's
somebody died. I missed it before we came on. The news said a Seinfeld actor died today. I was like, who?
And then Bookman, 90-year-old.
Philip Baker Hall.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Great character actor.
He was the librarian guy, or the overdue book.
All right, I'm going to ask both of you.
He was on something else.
And I'll ask the audience because, and I'm sorry, I got to get going soon.
Yeah.
But there was a show in 1999, only lasted a season. It was made by the creator of Moonlighting. It was called Now and Again. And it was about a guy, it was John Goodman in the pilot, accidentally gets killed in a subway, like a subway car hits him. They save his brain. They grow a clone body that has super strength and super speed, not super speed, but certainly faster than a human being. And they dump his brain into this body. And Dennis Haysbert plays the spy master doctor that's in charge of this military intelligence project. And he is now a super spy for military intelligence. The one thing is he cannot connect with his old family anymore. And it only lasted one season. And I mention it because there was a Fox show another 7 years later called Almost Human, and Philip Baker Hall is in the pilot.
Yeah, that I saw.
He dies, and they clone a body, and they put his brain in a new body. That one is played for serious action drama.
Yeah, I watched that. It was on Fox.
Carl Urban was on that, wasn't he?
Who was?
Carl Urban was on that from The Boys, wasn't he?
Yes, he was. Was.
I believe so.
I watched that. Yeah,
it's on Hulu, and again, the great thing is Now and Again is on YouTube. Somebody threw up all 22 episodes, plus what looks like special content behind the scenes, like an hour of that content as well. And as Dowd points out, it got 22 episodes. I'm telling you, it was a great show. Oh, I'm so glad Langley remembers the show. And yes, Dennis Haysbert was in it. It's so good. It really, and again, it's just sitting on YouTube under somebody's channel. Now and Again TV series. That's the way to search for it. Yeah. And just watch the pilot, and I think you'll find it funny enough that you'll want to watch it because there really was a good measure of comedy, along with I can't reconnect with my family, and they're of course in there, It's great. And the guy who back to Trek in Voyager, the other Q that wants to kill himself.
Corbin Burnson?
No. That's Next Generation other Q. Voyager, there's another Q. He wants to kill himself. I forget the actor's name. You'll know him. He's been in a million things since the 70s. He is John Goodman's best friend and now and again, and then connects with the new guy. And again, it's John Goodman's brain, but there's only like 1 or 2 episodes where Goodman shows up in flashback scenes. It really is the new actor. It is so good, I'm telling you. And again, it makes me want to watch Almost Human, which I blew off the first time. That's on Hulu. So.
I like the animated one. You're a Goodman, Charlie Brown, that had John Goodman and Charlie Brown together with Snoopy. You don't remember that one?
No, I don't remember. No. But I like that's a good fun. That's all right. That was a good fun. Garrett Graham is the actor that I'm thinking of. And I want to say he's in Phantom of the Paradise, the old 70s Paul Williams Faust movie where he's the devil.
Oh, God, that thing? Oh, my Christ. Now you're really reaching.
Garrett Graham is the lead character in that. I'm pretty sure.
What show I enjoyed back in the day, and I would almost watch it again, but I don't know if they have it anywhere, is the Alien Nation TV series on Fox.
It's out there. It's out there. I've seen it.
It's on Tubi at the very least.
Yeah.
With what was his name? He was the Vulcan guy.
Gary Graham.
Enterprise. Yeah,
I liked him. Yeah, he's the.
I just watched him on an old episode of T.J. Hooker where he was a bad guy. Yeah.
Yeah. And
it's great. He shows up at the Star Trek conventions.
Eric
Pearpoint. And he's got a band, and they play like when they introduce somebody to the panel or whatever. They play like the incidental music during panels and in between panels, and they're a pretty good rock band actually. They're decent.
Yeah, the other guy was Eric Pearpoint. He played the Alienation guy, and then he had the daughter and the son, and the wife.
I liked the series a lot. The movie was okay, but the series really kind of delved into things.
That's funny because I love the movie. I think James Caan.
Oh, James Caan, yeah.
And Mandy
Patinkin, yeah.
So,
and then they did a couple TV movies after it was over, but they were okay.
I never saw the TV movies that wrapped everything up because I missed them because they were on weird times or whatever.
Yeah, they were called like Dark Horizons. I remember one of them. So
sure. Wayne says Gary Graham's band at the Trek conventions is called the Sons of Kirk. Perfect.
Oh,
perfect. Guys, I apologize.
Wait.
Yeah, you got to go.
You got to go.
Fast. All right, real fast.
No, I was going to say the guy from Alienation was Sean Kanan, who will be at Terrificon next month, July 29th to 31st. That's it.
There you go. All right. Fantastic.
I guess.
Boys, good job. Right. Peanut Gallery, great job as well. I'm sorry. The reason why, and I just want to let everybody know, don't run away because there's another word balloon coming up at the top of the hour. My good friend Stephanie Phillips, who is doing the Harley Quinn comic book, Catwoman, Wonder Woman, so many great things, also will be at Terrificon. So watch that in about 15 minutes right here on Word Balloon's YouTube channel. Until next time, please stay